What's up, everybody? Welcome to the BeTempered podcast, episode number
35.
Well, today we have a pretty cool woman, Heather Labbe, who is the executive director of the Travis Mills Foundation. And last week we had Chris Roseberry on, who had an unbelievable story of resilience and perseverance and tragedy, just the mental fortitude just to keep going in life. And it was amazing. And that all kind of started with my connection with Heather by reaching out to the Travis Mills Foundation. And, this is a unique foundation for servicemen and women and first responders up in Maine. And they do stuff all over the country. And Heather goes into, all the different activities that they have and for families of first responders and of military veterans. It's amazing. Mm-hmm. It's amazing all the things they do.
Yeah. And, I think the one cool thing with Heather is you just see her passion for it. Yeah. And you know why she's in the position she is with that foundation. And you just see there's the passion and just the utter, just the vision that you could see from her.
Yeah.
Like she has it lined out exactly 5-10 years down the line of what it's going to look like and how they can change even more lives and the bigger plan.
Yeah. And she goes into the story of Travis. For those of you who don't know, Travis Mills is a quadruple amputee. He's missing his legs and his arms because of an IED as he was serving our country, fighting for our freedoms. And, through his vision of wanting to help others who had been in a similar position, maybe not the loss of limbs, but maybe something like PTSD or things like that. He started the foundation, and it's amazing. I encourage anybody to get on YouTube and just search the Travis Mills Foundation and look at the facility. It is unbelievable. It's beautiful up in Maine with, just an amazing setting up there. But what's even more amazing is, and she talks about all this, is all the things that they do for, those people out there who, like she talks about Travis, he loses his limbs and he could very easily sit on a couch the rest of his life and do nothing, but he doesn't. He's out doing things that you and I do on a daily basis, but he just does them a little differently.
Right.
And he shows those out there who are, facing adversities and whatever it may be that, hey, you can do it too. Mm-hmm. And it's a pretty cool thing to see a really unique interview with Heather. And she kind of tells us her story of how she got into, the nonprofit for the Travis Mills Foundation. But you can hear her passion. You can see her excitement. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. I hope you guys really enjoy this episode.
Yep. Without further ado.
Hi, my name is Schmidt. This is my dad, Dan. He owns Caitlin's Glass.
Thanks, Allie. Things like doors and windows go into making a house. But when it's your home, you expect more, like the great service and selection you'll get from Caitlin's Glass. Vinyl replacement windows from Caitlin's come with a lifetime warranty, including accidental glass breakage replacement. Also ask for custom shower doors and many other products and services. Call 962-1636. Locally owned with local employees for nearly 30 years.
Caitlin's Glass, the clear choice.
Welcome to the BeTempered podcast, where we explore the art of finding balance in a chaotic world.
Join us as we delve into insightful conversations, practical tips, and inspiring stories to help you navigate life's ups and downs with grace and resilience.
We're your hosts, Dan Schmidt and
Ben Spahr.
Let's embark on a journey to live our best lives.
This is BeTempered.
Well, Heather Labbe, welcome to the BeTempered podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you. We talked, 2-3 weeks ago. I had reached out to the Travis Mills Foundation, hoping to get Travis, and you steered me in the direction of Chris, and we interviewed Chris for last week's episode. And then as I'm talking to you, I'm like, holy cow, this is a great gal. She's got a story, and she's leading the charge at the Travis Mills Foundation, and we want to get that story. So I appreciate you taking the time to meet with us, because I know you're busy.
No, I'm honored to be here. It is a busy time of year, right? End of year giving season. So, but hey, this is a fun thing to carve some time out for. So again, honored to be here.
Yeah, well, thank you for joining us. So what we like to do is we like to start off kind of hearing your story growing up, and then we'll get into kind of what led you to the Travis Mills Foundation.
Very cool. So I'm from a small town here in Maine. I'm born and raised here, and my dad was a career firefighter paramedic in the big city of Portland, and I grew up on a farm. Very very humble beginnings, so to speak, and I knew that when I grew up, I wanted to give back and I wanted to serve, and that looked a little bit different over the years. At one point, I thought I wanted to be a paramedic, and then I found out that I would have to touch people, which wasn't really my thing. And so I thought, what else can I do? And, I worked a couple of jobs, went to college, and I started doing accounting, and I realized I really, really liked, I always knew I liked math. And so I was trying to think, what can I do with that? And I realized as an accountant, it's less people. And I thought, okay, I can get on board with this. But I still really wasn't meeting that need of giving back to folks. So, back in 2018, the previous executive director of the Travis Mills Foundation, she was a friend of mine. We would see each other at, a ugly sweater party every year. And she'd say, when I'm ready for you, I'm ready for a finance person. I'm going to call you. And I said, okay, like I have a good job. We'll see. Travis sounds like a cool guy, but we'll see. And, so in 2019, she called me and she said, okay, we're ready for a finance person. And, my life had changed dramatically. My son had been born the year prior, 7 weeks early. So what I thought my, working mom career trajectory was going to look like changed drastically when that happened. And so I decided quickly that I needed a job that offered me a little bit more flexibility and that was focused more on, the family lifestyle. And I thought the foundation that does that, right? They serve recalibrated veterans and their families. So seemed like they would have a good opportunity for me to have that flexibility and lifestyle that I was really looking forward. And so I joined the foundation in 2019. And the rest is history, as they say, right?
I want to back up a little bit because I'm a farm boy from Ohio. What was your farm like in Maine?
Sure. So my grandparents had a riding stable when my dad was growing up. Both my dad and my grandfather are farriers as well. They were both firefighters and farriers because every firefighter's got another job. So we had horses. It turns out because we were poor, we did all of our own hay and all of those things. I thought it was, we were doing firewood, we were doing hay. My dad, we did pulp, firewood for a number of years. So I always joke that my dad ended up with two daughters. He wanted sons, but he got two daughters. So he raised us just the same. So, we were cutting firewood and, twitching pulpwood out and, taking care of the horses and doing all of those things.
Oh, that's pretty cool. We don't get into any of the wood stuff here. We're corn and soybeans and cows and pigs, but I'm not a horse guy. I've got 3 daughters and 2 sons, and I always told the kids when they mention horses, I'm like, if you can't eat it on our farm, we're not going to raise it.
I tell everybody now, you spend enough time with cows and horses, you understand why we ride horses and eat cows. So.
Same goes for pigs. I can tell you that.
Yes.
So you joined the foundation. So talk about that career transition from, were you a CPA?
I was going to school to get my CPA. So I'd actually taken one of the licensure classes exams. And then the next one was scheduled. I was trying to get it done before Maverick was born. Maverick's my son. And he showed up 7 weeks early. So that kind of messed my schedule up. I had to call him and say, I'm not going to make it to the appointment. My son's in the NICU right now. And so I actually never finished that. And I debated, what does that mean for my life, right? I've always been a straight A student. I do what I set my mind to. So it was really challenging for me to kind of take a step back and say, what am I going to do with my career? Because I was going to become a CPA. I was going to start my own, tax business and do all of these things. And I had to do a little bit of evaluation to figure out where my life was going to go. Because it was different than what I had planned. And, I was really grateful for the opportunity to come to the foundation because they believed in me when I didn't necessarily feel like I had the paper to back it like I thought I should, right? I had been working at a large corporate organization. I was I was a financial analyst for a business unit of about 350 people. So I was doing, financial forecasting and budgets and all of those things. And I felt pretty confident about what I was doing. But, when the foundation called me and they said, we need a finance person, I said, all right, like game on. I wanted an opportunity to be able to make a difference in an organization. I had run a small business before. I ran an automotive repair shop. So I have a pretty well-rounded resume, so to speak. So I ran a garage, right? And I was the bookkeeper, I was the service manager, I was the parts manager, I was out changing oil if one of the guys called in sick. So I learned a lot about small business then, right? Because I had to go collect bills so I could pay the Napa bill at the end of the month. But then I went to this large corporate organization and I learned so much about the other side of the business, right? Like I said, forecasting and budgeting and, all of those EBITDA and all P&L and all the fun things. But I could nerd out about for hours. And so then when I had an opportunity to come to the foundation, I was able to take all of those things that I had learned, right? A small business, a big business. How do we make a small business feel like a big business? And make them useful skills and help bring the organization forward, right? I wanted a chance to make a difference.
Yeah. So what aspects of working in the nonprofit world have surprised you the most compared to your time in the corporate sector?
So I used to joke that I went from a cubicle to an office, right? But finance is still finance. And what has been most powerful for me is being able to get involved in the programming. So I stepped into the role of executive director about 2 years ago. And that gave me a chance to get out from behind my desk a little bit. Turns out not a lot of people want to talk to the finance guy. That's just it's not a high priority, but lots of people want to talk to the executive director. So I got a chance to get out from behind the desk. And in doing so, one of the things I've done is get more hands-on involved in our program. So our Warrior Path program, which is our post-traumatic growth program, has a horse component to it. So I actually teach that module. So one Tuesday or 2 Tuesdays a month, I get to get out from behind my desk, go to the barn, and teach combat veterans and first responders about connection, which is it's just really being in a barn talking about horses, but then I get to help them apply that to their lives and give them tools that they can take home with them.
Oh, that's pretty cool. And it gets you your horse fix, right?
Yeah. Yes, sir. I get to wear boots and jeans that day.
That's pretty awesome. So what other things does the Travis Mills Foundation do? I mean, kind of go into a little bit of detail of what's out there for, for anybody who may be looking for something along the lines of what the foundation offers.
Awesome. So we do all kinds of things. But of course, our flagship family program is where it all started, right? Travis being quadruple amputee himself, used to go on all these events and activities, and he got to bring a non-medical assistant with him because he can't put his arms and legs on by himself. But he was going on these trips with other veterans and they had to go by themselves because of the way the funding worked. And Travis realized, like, his family is suffering through this just as much as he is. And he was fortunate because he got to bring Kelsey with him. And so they thought, how can we do that for other people? So we have our flagship family program where we serve combat veterans, post 9/11 veterans with some sort of permanent physical limitation. And that could be anything ranging from a TBI to we have spinal cord injury. We have amputations, we have all kinds of permanent physical limitations. And the concept of that program is we show them that they can live life off the sidelines. And we do that by making our campus completely barrier free. So we have a high ropes course that was donated by the incredible Mike Rowe. And we've had, triple amputees be able to navigate the ropes course, which is an opportunity that they don't get every day. And it shows them that they can do the things, right? They can do the hard things and face the obstacles that they see in their everyday world. And that gives them motivation for when they go home. Other things that we do with them when they're here is we have a pool, right? Water is the great equalizer. Somebody like Travis can swim. Travis can swim with no flotation devices, no prosthetics. And what an incredible gift to be able to move that freely again. And sometimes somebody with like a permanent physical limitation may feel uncomfortable if they take their prosthetics off because now all of a sudden they look drastically different than everybody else around them. And so giving them an opportunity to be normal, right? There's probably 7 other people here that look like you in some capacity or move like you in some capacity. And giving the kids an opportunity to not have mom or dad that's the only one that looks like that is a pretty incredible gift. So we give them a chance to come out and try whatever, right? You want to go kayaking, you want to ride an e-bike, you want to, like I said, do the ropes course, we do wheelchair basketball, we do all kinds of really fun things, and just give them a chance to be a family, and be a family without limitations, right? Mom can sit on the patio and dad and the kids can go swim in the pool and there's no barriers, right? And so that's our flagship family program, which is really very, very near and dear to Travis and Kelsey's hearts. From that, we developed the caregivers program where we take care of the people who do the taking care of. And those are really fun weeks because we take, we have ladies weeks, we have men's weeks, and we tailor the activities accordingly. But we do, take them apple picking, and we often do them in the fall where there's, foliage, and we go to drive around and do all kinds of fun things. And it's really nice because we get to take care of the people who do all the taking care of all the time. In 2020, we partnered with the Boulder Crest Foundation to bring in Warrior Path, which I talked about a little bit. And that gives us an opportunity to serve combat veterans and first responders with the invisible wounds, right? PTSD. Everybody's heard of it. And a fair amount of people have been diagnosed with it. So, like I said, my dad being a first responder myself, I didn't understand why my dad came home mad or upset. When I was 16, I just thought he was a jerk for not letting me go out in the car with my friends. I didn't realize he went to a fatal car accident the night before with a bunch of teenagers. So, and he never had tools to be able to communicate that or deal with it. And so the idea of Warrior Path, or PTG, post-traumatic growth, is to be able to take those struggles and turn them into strength. We're all going to have struggles. We can't pretend like we're not going to have trauma anymore and life's just going to be full of, ponies and rainbows. So how do we take that struggle and turn it into something that can be helpful? It doesn't have to be beautiful, but it could be helpful. So that's a program that I feel tremendously passionate about. And that's the one that I teach part of that program in. We do some offsite programming. So we partner with the Georgia Aquarium. We take veterans swimming with sharks and whale sharks right in the aquarium in Atlanta, which is a super, super fun day. And the families get to be there and they get to see, mom or dad swimming in the tank, which is a very cool thing. We have a Recalibrate program, which we developed a couple years ago. And this is a really cool one. So people come here through our family program. They have a great week. They live life barrier free. And then they go home to their normal life and they face all the same barriers that they had before. And so we ask them to identify a barrier and come to us with a potential solution. So, and then we help them source that solution. It could be anything from, I came to the foundation and I used a different style wheelchair and it was way easier for me, but that wheelchair is very expensive. And so we help them find that wheelchair, whether we find another organization that provides those wheelchairs or another organization that can link them up with that, or we provide the funding directly. Now, a wheelchair is an example, but that's not super common. The single most common item that we have given out is the tonal, which is the workout device that goes on the wall, kind of like a mirror. Okay. Yeah. It's got all the magnets and everything. So I'm sitting in the Health and Wellness Center that we built a few years ago. And in the Health and Wellness Center, we have a gym. And in the gym, we put in a tonal. And turns out the tonal is one of the most adaptable pieces of equipment that you can possibly have in a gym. It goes through you have a subscription and you can access all these different workout plans and you can adjust the workouts based off of what exercises you can and can't do. And it's all magnets and the arms are adjustable. So you can do all these different exercises from a single piece of equipment and it fits on a wall, which is super handy for somebody who is especially limited to a wheelchair or, they want to work out at home because going to the gym is difficult. Travis himself has a tonal. He comes here and uses it. He can use this piece of equipment and do all kinds of different exercises. I set it up for him the other day and the workout itself had curls and calf raises and one other exercise that he could do. And all I did is go in and edit the calf raises because, well, he doesn't have calves. So that wasn't a really helpful workout for him, exercise for him. So I found a different one that he could use and it walked him through the same way that you or I would. It counts your reps, it counts your sets, it does all of those things. And so all Travis needs is somebody to adjust the arms and clip him in, which is what a gift, right? To be able to feel kind of normal again. So we've given away probably 16 tonals this year. Wow. Folks that have come here have used the tonal and realized that could be a benefit to themselves and their family at home. And so they have to send a letter. There's an application, we get hundreds of applications, but we prioritize things that can really make a difference. And then we have 3, 6, and 12-month check-ins to see if they're meeting their goals. I got a letter from a participant the other day that I think he said he's lost like 60 pounds since he, got this piece of equipment, started working out, then he started feeling better. So then he started eating better. Then he, his workouts got better, and now he's less physically limited than he was before. He had the injury, he still has the injury. That's not going to go away. But he's lost weight and he's feeling a lot stronger. And now he can get out and go grocery shopping with his kids, and his wife doesn't have to go. Like, what a gift, right?
Yeah. And not only physically, but I'm sure mentally he probably is in a different state as well, right?
Absolutely. Like, I know that my workout is critical for me, right? If I have a tough day at work and I don't get a workout in, like, I'm not super fun to be around. So, and that's what we like to talk about is the whole person wellness, right? It's not just the physical wellness. It's not just the mental wellness. And so that's what I think is really unique about the foundation, is that we have programs for, physical wellness and mental wellness. And then we try to give folks the tools to be able to capture all of it.
Okay. That's awesome. I mean, I got online this weekend kind of preparing for this, and I saw the Health and Wellness Center. There's a video I think Travis was going through, and then watched a couple different podcasts that Travis was on. And I mean, the facility looks amazing. I mean, it just looks like a beautiful setting with the pond or the lake or whatever. I don't know how big is the lake?
Yeah, it's a relatively large lake. I think it's we have Great Pond on one side and Long Pond on the other. So we actually have 2 lakes that meet right here. And so we've got a beautiful spot. The view is picturesque. There's, Elizabeth. So this is the old Elizabeth Arden estate. I don't know if you read about that at all.
Yes.
But she did a really good job when she picked this spot. I'll give her all the credit.
That's awesome. So for our listeners who may not know Travis Mills, can you talk a little bit about Travis? Now watching some of these podcasts and listening to him, and he seems like a little bit of a character, right? Got a little bit of a humorous side to him. But can you kind of tell his story just a little bit, and then kind of give the listener some context so that they understand what the foundation is truly about?
Yeah, of course. So I will start this with saying that Travis and Kelsey are some of my dearest friends in the whole wide world. And Travis was actually here this morning, and he's such an entrepreneur. He's like a serial entrepreneur, right? He's got his, I'm going to say this lightly, he's got his hands in everything. But he's just a super spirited human being. And I think that is what makes him so, his personality so contagious, right? Who doesn't want to get involved in it? But so Travis's story is he was on his 3rd tour in overseas, and he set his backpack down on a bomb. They had come through earlier with a minesweeper, and somehow, some way in this universe, the mine was not picked up. The IED was not picked up. He set his backpack down on a bomb and immediately lost portions of his right arm and right leg. He still had a few digits on his left hand and a portion of his left leg. He was immediately, the medics were immediately there. They were able to put tourniquets on and saved his life. By the time he got back overseas, of course, he went to Kandahar and launch school, and then eventually they got him back to the stateside, where he spent 19 months recovering at Walter Reed. And by the time he made it back to the United States, he was a quadruple amputee, so he had no arms and no legs essentially at that point. And then he spent 19 months recovering at Walter Reed, learning how to feed himself, how to walk, how to drive, right? He drives a normal vehicle. So if you're ever up this way, watch out. But he just decided like he wasn't going to let that hold him down, right? He very easily could sit on a couch for the rest of his life and not do a single thing. And I when I say that man accomplishes more before 9 o'clock in the morning than some people do in their lives, I'm not exaggerating in any stretch of the matter. He gets up every morning. He wakes up his daughter. He wakes up his son. He makes coffee for his wife. He takes the kids to school. He goes over to his various businesses. He's got a brew pub. He's got a marina. He's got the foundation. He's a motivational speaker. He's on the road about 150 to 180 days a year doing his motivational speaking across the United States. And he's the founder and president of I like to call it a relatively successful and popular nonprofit. So he's got no shortage of work to be done. But one of the things that he says is that he lost his ability to serve his country in the way that he could, right? He was very good at his job in the military, had recently been promoted to staff sergeant just before he got injured and was doing, fabulously and loved what he did. And I personally think about what a mental jujitsu match it must have been for him to try to figure out, well, like, what is my purpose in life, right? He was a big dude. And he was, he was tough, he was brave, he was strong, he was all the things. And then to find yourself sitting in a hospital bed with no arms and no legs, and then to somehow have the tenacity to say, like, I'm not going to let this keep me down. I'm going to keep going in life, and I'm going to accomplish things, and I'm going to accomplish great things. What an incredible story. And he lives that every day. And I think that's probably, one of my most favorite things about him. Is that, there are good days, there are bad days, there are hard days, there are easy days. And the challenges that he faces every day on a regular basis, just getting in the car, right? Everybody's got an iPhone. Everybody's got a USB plug for their iPhone. Have you ever tried to plug that in with one hand? Like that's so challenging, right?
Yeah.
And that's something we take for granted. Or you try, sitting on the couch and scrolling on your phone, right? You hold your phone up and you scroll, or you scroll with your thumb.
Yeah.
You can't do that. If you ever watch any of his videos, when you see him, he holds his phone. So he has his left hand, he holds his phone and he scrolls with his nose, which is a lot harder than it looks.
He had something on Instagram. He was cooking or something. I mean, it was comedic. It was hilarious. But it's amazing because, like you said, all the things that we take for granted, putting our socks on, putting our shoes on, scrolling on our phone. I mean, you're talking, he's got arms and legs he's got to put on. I mean, that's a whole nother realm, right?
Absolutely. And, one of his jokes, and we're at the point now where I steal his jokes. Delivery is not quite as good, but we're getting there. He loses 30 pounds every night, right? So you imagine putting on those prosthetics every day. And then trudging him around. So one of my favorite stories, we were traveling down to Florida for an event, and we got to Charlotte, and one of his legs, one of the sensors was bad. So the knees have a couple different settings, and they're essentially like an auto swing. When they're in walking mode, they don't free swing because that would be very dangerous. So they have like a walking mode. So it kind of helps him to walk just like the same way your legs help you walk. And one leg kept locking straight every other step, which is super challenging for him to navigate the airport. So we're in the Charlotte airport and we're in the food court, and he calls his prosthetist and he's like, "Hey, John, my leg keeps sticking. What can I do?" And they're Bluetooth. There's an app. There's all kinds of things we can do. So John's like, "You've got to do a hard reset on them." He's like, "Okay, I'm going to give the phone to Heather." Cause Craig, his father-in-law and traveling partner, had gone, to a different part of the airport. And so Travis goes, "I'm going to give the phone to Heather." And I'm like, "Okay, I can do this." And John goes, "Okay, you need to hold his leg upside down for 30 seconds to hard reset." I was like, "Okay, Trav, we got to take your leg off." He goes, "Nope, we're not taking my leg off." Okay. He goes, just hold my leg up. I have no hamstrings. Don't worry about it. You can't hurt me. And I'm like, okay. So we're in the food court with the tables that are about this big, and there's people everywhere. And I'm just, holding his leg up in the air. And there's blue dots on it. And John goes, "Okay, when those blue dots blink 3 times and turn red, then you'll know it's reset." And so we were going through this whole exercise, and it's, 30 seconds up in the air. And Travis is just in there. He's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. This is so embarrassing." I'm like, "Dude, we got to fix your leg." And it turns out we didn't fix the leg. It was a bad sensor, and we had to go through the whole trip like that. But
oh my god!
But that's his life, right?
Oh, that's crazy. That is crazy. What a great story. So any more about the foundation? What separates the Travis Mills Foundation from other foundations out there that may do similar things?
This is a cool question. So we do things, right? And it sounds so simple, but we bring people here and we give them an experience, whether it be in our family program, our caregiver program, our PTS, PTG program. We bring them here and we give them tools in various capacities. I was talking about our recalibrate program earlier, and one of the things that we're really mindful about, and particularly Travis, I had him on the committee for a while. Turns out he's a tough judge, right? So he doesn't want to just give handouts, right? And I was meeting with one of our participants one day, and the gentleman looked at me. He said, "I don't want a handout. I want a hand up." And that's something that we've kind of adopted internally, is that we're not giving handouts. We're giving people a hand up in whatever capacity we can. And so I think that really sets us apart in that we try really hard to stay close to the original mission that Travis and Kelsey believed in, and bringing people here and showing them they could live life off the sidelines. As we continue to grow and meet the needs of our veterans and meet them where they're at, we're not doing it in a way that we're giving handouts. We're doing it in a way that we're giving them a hand up.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. So looking ahead, what are some of the goals of the foundation in the next 5 to 10 years, and how do you envision its growth and impact in the future?
So 2 years ago, when we built this health and wellness center, we had just finished the ribbon cutting ceremony, and I was doing a tour with a donor the next day, and they said, "Okay, so Heather, so what's next?" And I looked at them. I'm like, "I am done. We are done building. We're gonna build an endowment. We are all done." So fast forward to April 2024. We're currently in design for a new building.
Awesome.
So in April, there is an apartment complex across the street. It has 12 single unit apartments, and it came up for sale, and it was on 8 acres. And we had been casually shopping for an expansion property because we realized, like, we only have 8 bedrooms here, and we can't do a family program and a path program at the same time. We simply just don't have enough space for it. We have all the tools to do all the things, everything else, right? The kitchen could accommodate, the activities could accommodate. We just don't have enough beds. So how do we find a solution for that? And the demand is there, right? We have all of our path programs filled all the way through, 6 months out. As far as we can book out, we've got those filled, and we've got another 100 people on the wait list. So I know the demand is there. And if you call me tomorrow and you say, "Heather, I'm struggling and I need help," I don't want to have to look at you and say, "Well, I can see you in August," right? That's not the right answer. So we immediately recognized we had to do better there. And then our family programs, we're always booked out. We always have a waiting list. So we've got to do more. And we had looked at a couple different properties around in the area. There's a lot of camps, right? We're here in the Belgrade Lakes region. So there's a lot of summer camps and things of that capacity. So we thought for sure something is going to pop up. And when it's right, it's right. And my dear friend, Kelly Roseberry, who was the VP of programming here at the foundation, she and I had looked at a bunch of different properties, and October of 2023, she passed away unexpectedly, which was horribly tragic and was really, really challenging for the foundation, trying to figure out how we were going to navigate forward without Kelly. Kelly had been a PT at Walter Reed, and that's how she met Travis. So she came here from the beginning. She helped him, build the programs and start the foundation and do all those things. And she was my right-hand man. So I, after, the dust settled and, we were going into the new year, I looked at Travis and I was like, man, I can't do it without Kelly. It's an obstacle I can't navigate. So if something pops up and it's right, we'll know, but I'm not hunting anymore. And he said, I agree with you. And I kid you not, 48 hours later, Travis called me. He goes, "Hey, realtor just called me. The apartments across the street are for sale." And I was like, "Okay, thanks, Kelly."
Wow.
Let's do this. And it really, I don't really believe in coincidences, but it was definitely felt like fate in that capacity. And so we purchased the apartments, and once the tenants are out in the spring, we're going to start renovating those spaces, and we're under design for a building, and that's going to become our post-traumatic growth facility. So we'll have enough bedrooms that we can host our guides, right, our employees that run the program, and the guests that come in there. And then that frees up our Maine retreat so we're currently doing 17 weeks of path programming a year. So that gives me 17 more weeks that we can bring families in on this side. So
That's awesome.
That's what's coming down the line, which is very exciting. So the hope is by the end of 2025, we'll be able to walk and chew gum at the same time.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So as we land this plane, I always ask two final questions. If you could have a conversation with a person living or deceased, who would it be and why?
That's a good one, man. It was way more profound than I was ready to like give you my spiel on like, talk about your mission statement, Heather.
Not yet.
A conversation with anyone living or deceased. I think I would talk to my grandmother, my mom's mom. Because when this is very personal, this is not foundation related. I think it was, so let's see, I've been here for 5 years. I was at, my corporate job, 5 years before that. And I had my first business trip was down to Worcester, Massachusetts, which is not glamorous in any capacity. My grandmother lived in Massachusetts. And so I, not far from there. So I went and had dinner with her, and we were sitting down and I was talking about my big business trip and this new corporate job I had and how excited I was. And she said, someday you're going to be a CEO. And I'm so excited for that. And I just thought she was crazy. Cause I was a project accountant at the time, entry level and certainly not glamorous and very, very far from being a CEO. And now, 10 years later, I'm doing just that. To be a small town kid, right, from nowhere, Maine, and to be at the helm of an organization, of this capacity. We're a, $10 million a year revenue budget, serving hundreds of veterans every year. Nationally, we've served veterans from 48 different states. We actually just had a gentleman fly in from Germany who was stationed over there, come to our PATH program. So we're serving people all over the world, and changing lives. Like, what a gift. And she believed in me a long time before I ever believed in myself in that capacity. And if there's anything that I've learned just from working with our participants and our students in the PATH program, it's that there's a lot of people out there that believe in you, and it's okay to listen to them. And I'm grateful that she believed in me before I even knew to believe in myself. So I would say thank you if I could have a conversation with her again.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's amazing.
That is amazing.
Might be the best answer we ever got on that.
You knocked that one out of the park.
Yes.
Yes.
So tell us your mission statement at the foundation.
Bro, come on.
Test.
It was a test.
Looking.
So we're actually, I am. Shh, don't tell anyone.
Travis.
Well, and so I stutter on that because we're working on expanding it, right? So it started with supports post 9/11 recalibrated veterans and their families through various programs in the Belgrade Lakes region of Maine. But I actually have a board meeting on Wednesday, and one of the things that we're talking about is that we're serving veterans all over the country where they're at, and we're serving first responders in our Warrior Path program. So we're actually working on developing it to say serving our nation's heroes, and through various forms of service. So I know our mission statement, but we're working on expanding it because we realize that there's a lot more folks to serve out there.
Yeah, that's awesome. Amazing work that you guys are doing for sure. And the last final question I have for you, are there any closing thoughts, words of wisdom? Is there a quote or a Bible verse when life throws you a curveball and things get tough? Is there something out there that you lean on that you could share with our listeners?
Oh man, this is a good one. So, this is one that I found myself saying pretty much once a day for the last 6 months, right? Leadership is hard and it can be very lonely sometimes. And sometimes you're faced with these daunting challenges and you get up every day and you're like, how am I going to do this today? But one of the things Travis and I often say to each other, right? We're in the weeds, we're in the thick of it. And, you're, dealing with whatever challenges come across the desk, right? Like a broken pipe, a tree fell on our generator, personnel issues, like any of the bad press, like whatever it's going to be this day. And you just, we always look at each other and you go, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
Yep. Mm-hmm. That's right. That's great advice. I think of that often. I don't remember who I heard that from, but running a business and working with my dad on a family farm. I mean, it feels like you're a constant firefighter, right? You think back to when you were running the little automotive shop and all the stuff you dealt with on a daily basis. And, it's just like getting a left hook and a right hook and an uppercut and then a gut punch every day. And, you go back on that. How do you eat an elephant? And one bite at a time. It's pretty awesome.
That's right. Well, I mean, like Travis does the same thing, right? Like his life could be super hard and he could get down and out about it, but we're just going to take it one step at a time, one bite at a time, and we're going to get through it.
Yeah. Great advice. Great advice. How can people find out more about the foundation? How can they donate if they want to donate? Give us all that information.
Absolutely. So our website is travismillsfoundation.org. We work really hard at keeping it up to date. We've got events on there. Speaking of that, we have a concert in Florida in January, which is going to be very exciting. So that's down in Ocala. But anyway, so we've got all our event information on our website. You can make a donation. You can buy some merch on there. So you can be, repping TMF, running around town and wherever you are, but just be prepared because lots of people ask questions about it.
Well,
then of course you can follow us on socials, or you can follow Travis on socials, and that is very entertaining and I highly recommend it.
I agree. If you want some comedic relief, watch Travis on Instagram trying to cook. That's pretty good.
Absolutely. Sometimes he'll call me and be like, I'm going to put this on Instagram. I'm like, no, please. No. Like, cool. It's a live video. It's already there. All right. Here we go.
Oh, well, Heather, we appreciate your time. I know you are a busy woman and you are doing some amazing things at the foundation. And I appreciate you, everyone there at the foundation, returning my email and then having the conversation and tying us in with Chris and his amazing story, and then hearing your story and then hearing more about the foundation. You guys are doing amazing work for amazing people who have done amazing things for our country and, for people every day. And so I can't thank you enough.
Thank you guys for having me. It's an honor to meet you. And I hope that we get a chance to meet in person. If you're ever in New England, you come give us a visit.
Sounds great. Thanks again. And have a Merry Christmas.
Thanks. You too.
All right. See ya.
Hi, my name is Allie Schmidt. This is my dad, Dan. He owns Caitlin's Glass.
Thanks, Allie. Things like doors and windows go into making a house. But when it's your home, you expect more, like the great service and selection you'll get from Caitlin's Glass. Vinyl replacement windows from Caitlin's come with a lifetime warranty, including accidental glass breakage replacement. Also ask for custom shower doors and many other products and services. Call 962-1636. Locally owned with local employees for nearly 30 years.
Caitlin's Glass, the clear choice.